Welcome again to the course of Financial Management. I'm your course instructor, Shehzad Khan Durrani, lecturer, Institute of Business Studies, Kohat University of Science and Technology, Hangu campus. In today's lecture, we will talk about and we will try to understand simple and compound interest. Outline for today's lecture are interest. First, we will try to understand the basic concept of interest, right? Then we will discuss the two types of interest, and they are simple interest we have, and we have the compound interest, so we will talk about it. And then we will try to come up with different problems or examples and their solutions, right? And concept of interest, right? Interest. So we will start from the basic definition of interest. So by definition, interest is the money paid or the money earned for the use of money. So what does it mean? It means that the interest is the cost of borrowing money, where the borrower pays a fee to the lender for the loan. So what does it mean? It means, for example, you have some savings, right? You have some savings. So you went to the bank. This is a bank, right? So you went to the bank, you have some savings and you have a saving account in the bank, right? So when you go to the bank, you deposited that amount in your saving account. What the bank is doing? The bank is going to invest that money in other securities, right? In other securities. The bank is going to invest that money in other securities, and then the bank is earning from that securities and providing some money to you, right? So that's called interest, right? The rate at which they are providing is called the interest rate. So the rate at which they are providing is called the interest rate. We have the types of interest, so we will talk about it, the different types of interest, right? So mainly we have simple interest and compound interest. So simple interest, right? The basic concept of simple interest. So simple interest is calculated using only the principal balance of the loan. You can also call it the original amount, right? Or it is also called the principal amount or the original amount, right? So what does it mean? It means that simple interest paid or received over a certain period is a fixed percentage of the principal amount, right? So it's the fixed percentage of that original amount that you deposited, that was borrowed or lent. So that the money that you borrowed or that the money that you lent to someone. Formula of simple interest is, right? So simple interest, right? P stands for present value, I stands for interest, and N for the number of period or periods or number of year or years, right? So simple interest, SI, simple interest. P means principal amount, right? And then I means the interest, and N is the number of periods or the number of years. Now look at example, right, to understand simple interest. Suppose that you deposited $100. How much? Suppose that you deposited $100 in a saving account. So the account that you deposit is called a saving account with an 8% simple interest, right? So the interest is given, the amount that you deposited is given, right? Within 8% interest rate is given here, and keep it for 10 years. So the number of years here are 10 years, right? So find the interest at the end of 10 years. So we will try to solve this question, right? So we know the formula, right? Simple interest is equal to, right, the principal amount into interest into n. You need to multiply all these three and you will get the simple interest. Very simple, right? So the simple interest, the present value, right, which is the principal amount, which is the $100 we have. So $100, right, which is given. Then we have the interest rate, so 8% it is. So 8 divided by 100, so you will get 0.08, and then 10 years, right? So the number of years here, right? So multiply all of them and you will get the answer, right? So after multiplication, you will get the $80. So after 10 years, how much you will get? 100. This is the present value plus 80 that you will get from the interest. So total you will get is 180. Clear? Now we will move to the next slide and the next topic. To understand compound interest, right? So we will talk about compound interest, right? So what is compound interest? The basic concept, right? Interest paid or earned on any previous interest earned, right? So you have like the original amount. For example, in 1 year you earned, let's say, for example, $10 and you deposited $100, so it's 110. So the compound interest, your next interest for the next year will be calculated on the basis of the original amount that was 100. The interest that you earned in the first year was 10. So you will calculate the interest on 100 on 10, not on the 100. So that's actually called the compound interest, as well as on the principal or borrowed or lent. So what does it mean? Compound interest is based on the principal amount and the interest that accumulates on it every period. So it's accumulating second year, then the third year, right? So it means interest over interest. This is the really important, this point, right? I will try to highlight this one. It's really much important. Interest over interest. So compound interest means interest over interest. Formula of compound interest is compound interest, the principal amount, right, the original amount, into 1 plus I, the interest rate, right, raised to the power number of years. Clear? So CI stand for compound interest. It is, let me correct this one, it's not simple interest, it is compound interest, right? Compound interest, right? So CI stands for compound interest, P for the principal amount, and I for the interest rate we have, and N of course for the number of periods or for the number of years. Now solve a problem related to compound interest. Example 1. Suppose that you give $100, how much? $100 to someone with an interest rate of 8%, right? For the period of 2 years, right? Find the compound interest. It's a very simple question, right? To understand the basic concept of compound interest. So compound interest formula is compound interest, the original amount, into 1 plus I is the interest rate raised to the power n, which is the number of years given. So simple interest, sorry, again it's compound interest, not simple interest. 100 into 1, right? So 100 is actually the amount given, so it's the p value, it's the p value, it's the I, which is 0.08, right? 8 divided by 100, and the number of here is 2, so raised to the power 2, right? So you will get the value of the compound interest, right? First you need to add this, so it will be 1.08, right? If you take its power, it will be something like 1.16, and then multiply it with 100, so 100 multiply by 1.16, and you will get how much? 116.64. that is called the compound interest, right? Now we will try to make this problem a bit complicated, right? So let's see. Example 2. In 1790, in the year, Jacob Astor bought approximately an acre of land on the east side of Manhattan Island for how much? For $58, right? It was the year 1790, right? Astor, who was considered a shrewd investor, made many such purchases, right? So Astor is a really good investor. How much would his descendants have in 2009 if instead of buying the land, Astor had invested the $58 at 5% compound interest annually, right? So the year is given here, 2009. 1790 to 2009, it's 2019 years, right? So they are actually trying to say that in 1790, for example, he invested $58. For example, how much would his descendants have in 2009 if instead of buying the land, if he had invested that $58 for which he bought the land, right, at a compound interest, right? So we will try to calculate the compound interest here. So let's try to solve this, right? So compound interest, we know the formula, right? The formula is compound interest. So this 2019 is for the number of years that we are calculating. 1790 to 2009. How much is that? 2009 to 1790. 1790, and here is the 2009. So it's 219 years, right? We have the principal amount into 1 plus I is the interest rate, and into n, and the n here is 290. So the principal amount we will have, or you can call it the present value, into 1 plus I into 50. So this 219, we can split it. Can we write it like this? 50 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50 and plus 90. We can write it like that, right? Because 50, 50, 100, 50, 150, and 200, and then 219 we have, right? So we will try to divide it into years. So first we will try to find it for the 50, and then 50, and then we will try to multiply all of them, and then you will get the amount, right? So the principal amount here is the $58, which is given. 1 plus I, right? I, how much is the I? The interest rate, which is 5, right? So it means 0.05, which is 5. So 5% actually means 0.05. So if you add it with 1 here, it will be 1.05. 1.05 you will have. If you took its power with the 50, you will get 11.467. Then again 11.467, 11.467, 11.467 here, here, and here. And then for the 19, 1.05 raised to the power 19, and you will get the value of 2.527, right? So $58, right, multiply by I multiply all of them and you will get this amount, right? Multiply it with $58 and ultimately you will get this amount, right? So this was the investment. How much if he had invested $58 at 5% compound interest rate, right? So he will get after 219 years, he will get this much dollars, right? Then you can compare this amount with the land, that how much is the value of the land. So this is one kind of investment, and this is another kind of investment by put yourself deposit your money at a fixed interest rate, right? And you can compare it to see which one is good. These are the references that I use while making